Hey everybody, this is Ori from OneScales, and in today's video I'm going to introduce you to Robots.Txt so you guys can be familiar with it, understand it, be comfortable, and actually be able to edit it and use it for the sake of your website for the guidelines that you need to provide. I made an article on our website on onescales.com, and this video is trying to go over the article, but also show you the testing tool so we can actually give you more examples than the article has. You can get more detail, you can visually learn. And obviously, if you have any questions, you can always ask us in the comments on the website or on YouTube or social media. Let's jump into it very simply. What is a robots.txt? So first of all, on every single website, no matter what website it is, it's CNN.com, it's Google, it's OneScales, whatever website, you can put a file at the end of your URL. So whatever the .com is, for example, /robots.txt, and you will give guidelines for any kind of bot, any kind of code, any kind of program that comes to your website to tell it what you want them to see on your website and what you want them to not see. So we call it allow, what I want them to allow, and what I want to disallow. Don't come visit these things. So for example, Google, hey, I want you to come read these pages, but these pages I don't want you at all to read. And every website should have this. And what happens is when bots come to your website, what they do is before they visit your pages or during visiting, they actually go to your robots.txt, see what they can visit, and then they crawl the rest of the site. They read it. For example, Google will actually read all your pages and then list you in the search engine result pages. Or maybe some tool, for example, an SEO tool might analyze your website. You can tell it what you want to visit and what you don't want to visit, and there's some additional things you can also tell it. So it's really like a guidelines for bots and programs. When they come to your website, first check this, see what you're allowed to do, and then go do it. Okay? So again, if you have any questions, let me know. Next thing. So now we know what it is, so robots.txt. Where do you place it? We already know it's in your root directory after the domain name /robots.txt, just like OneScales has a /robots.txt. The next thing is, in order to specify the guidelines, what they're allowed to visit and what they're not allowed to visit, you actually have three sets of things. You have rules, groups, and user agents. First of all, a user agent is basically the name of the bot you want to give a guideline for. So for example, user agent ads bot Google. So it's a ads bot for Google. Google has many different bots that do different things. Some for ads, some for just crawling and ranking you, and different kind of things. So you can specify this is the user agent. I want to give some kind of rules. The next thing is the group. Basically, you can group together, say this agent, I want you to have these kind of rules, rule 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can put them in groups. And then the last one are the rules, what you want to do. For example, I have here disallow. Don't visit anything that's /admin. Don't visit anything that's in someone's cart, /cart. Don't do that. Disallow. Don't do that. There's also allows. You can also do this. Let's go down here. So I don't have an allow here, but you can basically say, I want to disallow. Don't visit these, but I want you to allow these other things. So you can say, yes, specifically, I want to allow certain pages to be visited. If in the guidelines, if you don't specify a disallow, it is automatically allowed. So I want to make sure that's clear. So for example here, if I have here, I specify user agent equals Bing bot, which is the bot that Bing or Bing search engine goes and reads your website so they can rank you on their search engines. If I specify disallow, it means don't visit any page, anything after the domain name, including any folder, file, any page. I want you to completely don't visit me at all. Okay? Very simple. A few other important things. In addition to my rules, there's a few important rules that happen. So the rules are processed from top to bottom, which means if I have two rules that either conflict with each other or they specify two different things, the top one, the highest one, if it applies, it'll always apply first. And the second one will not apply at all. The first one to apply will apply. Okay, so that's one rule. The other thing is, as I mentioned before, if something is not specified as disallowed, it is actually allowed. If you don't specifically say no, it is a yes. Okay, and the last one is they are case sensitive. Okay, so if I have a specific page, for example, maybe I have /admin, if my URL actually is a capital A, it will not apply to the rule. It has to be case sensitive. Capital and lowercase letters are very different from coding's perspective. Okay, so next things, what can I use to specify my rules? User agent we talked about, which is the name of the bot that you want to tell some rules for. Say, come here, do this, but don't do that. And allow, you can specify what pages you allow. Disallow is what pages you don't want to allow. Crawl delay specifies if the bot, and in most cases, the bot will actually crawl many pages your website. In many cases, it'll crawl your entire website, which you might have thousands of pages or more. You can specify the crawl delay. You can specify how often you should read the next page. So for example, I can specify every 10 seconds I want you to visit the next page. Instead of the bot going and getting my page very quickly and overloading my server, I can specify, you know what, I want you to crawl the next page only 10 seconds later. So wait 10 seconds between pages so you don't overwhelm your server. You can also do 100 seconds, you can do 20 seconds, you can do 1 second, you can do many things. The next one is sitemap. You can specify for the bot what are the list of all of the pages on your website. So what's the URL to the sitemap, which has a list of all the pages on your site. The last one is a comment. This is not processed by the bots. You can actually go and just specify your own notes. For example, there's a comment here which OneScales uses Shopify as our platform, and it just specify, hey, this is a comment. It doesn't do anything. It's just there for notes for either the developer that made it or the site owner or something you want to share publicly. So these are just notes. Anything that has a hashtag is not processed at all. Okay, so next one. In addition to specifying, for example, allow this or disallow that, you can also, instead of just specifying, I want you to disallow this folder, anything that's within the private folder, you can also use wildcards, which is basically an asterisk right here. Let me zoom in a little. And you can say anything between these slashes, anything that I replace here will actually also be allowed or disallowed depending on my rule. So for example, this /*/collections would basically be anything. So for example, /file/collections or /myimages /mycollections or any other word, letter or word or words in between, if you replace this, would actually apply to my rule itself. Okay, hope that makes sense. So you have a list in the article of many different things, and it gives you some examples. I think this is very nice to have. And the last one is, in addition to the asterisk, which is a wildcard, which could be anything in place of it, you can also put, for example, $, for example, at the end. You can specify that it actually has to end with, in this case, .php at the end in order to apply. Okay? So in addition to Robots.Txt, you also have meta fields that you can use. This is a little bit different, but I think it's important to mention, which you can also specify not just in the Robots.Txt, but you can specify in the HTML of your pages, hey, under meta name robots, I want you to not index this. Or I want on the server level, not just in the code of the page, in the server level on the HTTP header, you can specify, hey, xrobots tag no index. These tags are really more for search engines, not for all bots, and they're not always read by all bots, but it's really safe to use Robots.Txt, but I thought it's worth a while to mention. Okay, a few things before we jump into the actual tool to give you real examples. A few things. Robots.Txt is good for good bots. What does that mean? So if you have legitimate businesses that have that basically follow rules, follow guidelines, when you make a Robots.Txt, for example, Google or Yahoo or any kind of SEO tool or something like that, they go and they actually, before they visit your website, they actually go and they read your text and they try to follow your guidelines. But if someone is malicious, someone is a hacker, someone did something that is not legit, they might not listen to your Robots.Txt. So if you want to block them, blocking certain pages from Robots.Txt or certain bots is not a solution for everything. Only legit companies will follow your guidelines, and others that just do whatever they want, they will not even read your Robots.Txt. You might need to block them via code or firewall or CAPTCHAs or other things like that. Okay. Another important note is some bots follow the guidelines exactly and some bots don't follow the guidelines exactly. So you need to pay attention what you're doing and how different bots interact with your site. Okay. That's it. So let's jump into some real examples. Let's go in a few things. So I want to show you there's a tool by Google. They made the Google Robots.Txt testing tool. The link is here. Very simply, you go to your Search Console and you can see it. What you basically do is it'll load your robots.txt file, or you can actually make your changes here. I can, make some changes. And once you have the robots.txt information, you can test if the guidelines you're making are actually what you're looking for. Is you can actually test it before you deploy it, before you put it live. So what do? You put all your guidelines right here, all your rules here, all your bots. And the rules, for example, all bots I want you to disallow. Don't come to the admin or the cart or the PHP. And then you can actually go and test the page to see if your logic is correct. So for example, if I want to say, can any bot, can this Google bot, for example, can it go and visit, for example, my homepage, right? So if I do this, it'll say, yep, it is allowed, no problem, because in this case, it's not specified that it's not allowed, okay? But for example, if I type in admin, which I know this rule here is going to block it, means any bot, click on test admin, you see it's blocked right here, and there's a red line that says this is the first rule that applies. It says this row does not apply. Okay, so this is how the tool works. It's pretty nice. Now I want to give you some real examples, show you a little bit more, because we ran pretty quickly through all of these things, what you can do, how you specify the rule and the directives. You can say this user agent, this bot, I want you to block, I want you to allow, disallow, I want you to delay. We went kind of fast on it. So obviously you can read the article, but now I want to show you, I want to try to slow down and show you some examples. So I specified here, for example, any bot right here, I want to disallow admin. So when I try to go to the oneskills.com/admin, it blocked it. Now, when you specify here, either via wildcard or not at all, anything that applies after this will also get met with the rule. If it's allow admin, in this case, disallow admin something, it'll also be applied. So if I type in admin 555 and I test, it is also blocked by here, because if you, at the end of this text, either a star, which is anything else, or nothing will actually apply to the same thing. So this is blocked no matter what the URL is. I can even do, okay, so that's it. The next one is, let's give you another example. Let's say let's go down here and let's find, let's go right here. Let's say I have a file called file/page.php, okay? And I go here. Now it is blocked because of this, because it'll be any single screen, any single word, any single thing, but it has to end with .php because of the question mark at the end. So because this is files/page.php, it got blocked by this row. Even if I have something, for example, whatever it is, with no slash, just oneskills.com/this crazy thing .php, it'll also be blocked by this, because it'll still match anything .php at the end. Okay, so let me give you another example. This is a good example right here. Let's go to this one, for example. Let me give you an example right here. Okay, so let's say I have here, so this means anything/collection/anything will apply for the rule. For example, let's do this allow. Okay, so what I'm going to do is for example, images/collections/hello. And if I do that, it'll actually apply to anything. It's allowed. It's green because this rule applied to it. This is a specifically allow this thing to happen. Now, one thing I want to specify about this tool, because it's a Google tool in the Search Console, you can only specify from a drop-down menu these specific bots that are owned by Google. Now, if you obviously try to block things, for example, other ones, for example, this is a bot not owned by Google, you cannot really test it. So the best way to test it is, obviously you look at yourself, but the best way to test it is just temporary. Go ahead and type this in Google bot right here, and then you can specify, you can see that it's actually blocked right here. So temporary, just change it and you can test, you can use this tool better. If you guys have a better tool that lets you test any bots, I would love to know. I haven't found any myself, but I just want to specify that. Okay. What else is very important to know? We have allow, disallow. This is the sitemap. So when you specify a list of all your pages, you should tell the bot, this is a list of all my pages. These are my sitemap. You can have more than one if you would like. Okay. Next one I want to specify, this is where you have a crawl delay. So if you remember, when this specific bot, for example, Ahrefs bot comes, this is an SEO tool. When they come visit, I allow them to, actually, I want to disallow. I don't want them to come to these pages, but all the pages that I do allow, I want them to wait 10 seconds between pages for a crawl, or I want them 100 seconds or something like that, depending on what you specify. So specifically, I will put my group, if you remember groups, this bot, this is the crawl delay, and these are the pages I want you to not come visit, and this is a sitemap. So I can specify all those stuff that's in one group right here. Okay? Let's see what else we have here. Have anything else? Let's go to the bottom. I think that's pretty much it. So this one is only crawl delay, but allow everything. And this is crawl delay, allow everything. There's no disallows for this group, so no problem. Okay, this one will actually block anything for this specific user agent. So this hrefs site audit, it'll actually block anything that's in the folder cdn/wpm and any file.js. So for example, cdn wpm and for example my file.js. So any file will actually block it itself, but of course the user agent, the bot name has to be the same user agent here. Okay, so let's go back to the article, see if we missed anything, and we'll wrap up very simply. Okay, I think that's basically, oh, so one more thing is important. You have two ways that you can block certain bots. Either you can specify, hey, this bot, I want you to block these pages. Or you can specify something like this. You can specify, let's do this. For example, you can specify whatever the bot is. For example, let's just call it Bing bot, just for example. I want you to allow, for example, you know, whatever this page, this folder, anything that's in this folder and any other files here. But then I want you to disallow, let's go right here. I want you to disallow everything else. So only allow this, but disallow everything else. That's another way to block things. So you can specify, I want these bots to allow these, and everything else I want you to disallow. So let's look at this, Google bot. Okay, and the reason why anything I have here is basically going to be blocked other than anything in folder is because I said only this and disallow. You can also say, you can have this, just disallow, 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 or you can go the other way around, which is allow these and everything else automatically is disallowed via this method, because it works from the top to the bottom. First allow and then disallow everything. Okay, there's an order on this kind of thing. Okay, so I hope this makes sense for you. I hope this is a little bit more clear. I hope everybody should have a Robots.Txt for their website. And that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, most importantly, we're making a community here. We're here to make better information for you guys, make things better. If you have any questions, you're not sure how to do it, you have a specific use case, contact us, add in the comments on the website. You can go to the bottom, you can ask some questions, go to the YouTube channel, ask in the comment section, help each other out. We're here to help you guys. We'll do as best as we can. We're going to make more and more content about this topic and many other related topics. If you have any questions, let me know. If you did like it, like, subscribe, share, send to a friend. Let us know what you thought, what we're missing. If there's anything you would like us to add to it, please let us know. We're here to become a community with you guys, to learn from you guys, to give to you guys. And that's it. Much, much appreciated. Thank you guys. Much, much appreciated. Thank you.